Hey everyone, this is Evan Carthy from evancarthy.com. Today we are going to look at the S&P 500. Going to look at some targets for the upcoming week. Today is Saturday, June 13th, 2020. So it's going to be a preview for next week and a little bit to go over what happened last week. So last week in the video I did for it, I was looking for the market to go down, but I was looking forward a little bit earlier in the week. Obviously, it did go down, but not until Thursday. As you can see right here, we're looking at the 1 hour chart for it. Here we have Friday's action, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. And so basically all along through here, all it was they were just all the big money guys up there, all the way from, hold on, let's try another one up here. Okay, this thing isn't working for whatever reason. But these guys, it was just a range from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You started the descent right up there, but it's still in that range, and it wasn't until the opening session on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, the market reopened. Going into Thursday is when it took off right down there, and then rebounded some on Friday during the overnight session, and took off down below again. And then at the very end of the U.S. session, last 3 hours, it came back up some. So that was retracement we were looking for it. So no surprise there if you saw the video for last week. But looking forward to the next week, the one thing we will be looking at, I'm gonna go over a couple things here real quick, and we'll just stay on the 1 hour chart here right quick. So what we do have, we are in the middle of a short setup right here. You can see using this pivot point high up about 32.32. Down here using this pivot low down here at around 29.95. Price came up, hit that 38% Fibonacci retracement level. So when it does that, that initiates the short setup for it. So the target area we're looking for, if this setup does come to completion, there's a target box. We're looking for at least price coming around to about 29.33, and I think that is a very viable option to happen here beginning of next week for this to come down here and be complete. So that was I am looking for is more of the short side to more than move down to start off the week. And if price continues to retrace up, I will move that Fibonacci down up until if it comes up and hits the 38% line, and that would obviously alter the targets down here. But currently where we have it at right now, it fits it very nicely for it. So I am looking at more of a short side down to the market to at least around 29.33 for the next couple days in the market for a move down. So if we go over to the 2-minute chart, this one I trade off before this, you can see it's still setting up over there. Not really anything else to look at because until the market opens 5 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow, I mean, obviously don't trade that when that one's opening for it. But as you can see, we are in a small uptrend, but that doesn't mean anything when the market opens. It typically gaps up or down before selling in which direction it wants to go. But currently where we're looking at right here is we did just, it's good enough for government work up here, came close enough to hit that the target box to finish the day on Friday up here at around 30.48 before retracing back down. So I'd consider that a complete move right there. You see this pivot point low, pivot point high, price came down, hit the 50% retracement level, came back up, just was a tad shy of hitting the target box up there. But when you get a big move like that, or when I see a excuse me, when I see a big either support or resistance, and this one is a resistance, then that's good enough for it. That's where people were getting out of their long contracts right there, and so I consider that one to be complete. So currently, the current setup we have for it is using this swing low down here, this swing high right here. Let's draw that one up right here. So when the market does open tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that's my time zone. The current setup we do have for a long setup is going to be right up here at around, well, here it is right there, but the target area we're looking at is going up to about 30.58.25 up to about 30.64.25. Of course, price can go way up, blow past it, no problem at all right there. But that's basically what I look for is that target area, because price did come down, hit this 38% retracement box. So that is the current short-term long setup that we are in for the S&P 500. But then, of course, as went over just a little bit ago, the overall long setup that we have for it down here to the short side. So you can see price here. There's that little 2-minute setup. It definitely could come up there and hit that no problem without causing any issues before coming back down and hitting the box down here at about 29.32. So that's looking at the short time frame, the 2-minute, then the hourly chart. Let's go over here. We are going to go look at the daily and the weekly chart for the S&P 500. This is the continuous futures contract for it. And you can see down here, that is the pivot low I have for this current move up for it. There's the pivot high. Price came back down during that last coronavirus scare. Pivoted nice off of the 50% level. So the current long-term target we have for this move up here, because it is still in a very bullish move up, it hit very nicely off that 50%, and it has pretty much gone straight up ever since, besides obviously the little pullbacks here and there. But the current target we have for this long-term setup right here is going to be about 4,029, so at least around the 4,000 level. So when I'm telling people that, when I say, look, the target I have for the S&P 500 is the 4,000 level, they look at me a little funny for it. But until this thing shows that a big short step is coming here in the weekly chart, that is the the long-term step that we have. So still extremely long-term bullish for the S&P 500, and especially after last week. We're going to go into the VIX here in just a little bit and explain why a little bit further, why I'm still very bullish on that 4,000 chart. And at minimum, I'm bullish in this gap coming up here and getting filled right there. You see price came up close to it, never quite filled it before it had the retracement, but when price is always down here and price is crashing, I didn't think that was going to be the huge crash in the market that everyone's looking for. Personally, what I'm looking for is price to come up here and hit the 4,000 mark, and then after it does that, then start looking for that retracement. I'll definitely be looking to get out of a bunch of long-term positions, specifically like 401ks and stuff like that, or at least lighten the load and take some profits, because I think there will be a retracement when it comes up here and hit up there, but that's probably going to be several years away from it. So that's weekly chart. Going into the daily down here. So the reason why I was looking for retracement earlier in the week, this past week, is, let me delete that, is because the price had, let me draw the Fibonacci move up. First we had this move right up here. See price came back, hit that target area box, no problem at all. Then using this swing low, and I believe it was, which swing high was it? It was that swing high right there, I think. Yeah, that was it right there. That swing low, price came back, excuse me, swing low, swing high. Price came back down, hit the 38% level. And then, let's see, that's Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So Friday of last week right there, when price had gone up and closed at the top of the target box area, we're looking for 31.91. That's why I was looking for some resistance or some type of sell-off in the market, and eventually we did get that, and so that one has been completed. So now what it did was this created the pullback for the next long setup. So we're just stair-stepping up right here, so don't be afraid about this pullback in the market right now. To be honest, I think it's a buying opportunity. There's definitely some stocks I'm looking at, especially adding on to, let's see, like Exxon right here. I may add some to there depending on what it opens up. If it opens up around $45 on Monday, then definitely looking at getting in that. But anyways, not talking about that right now. So what this did was it entered us back into another long setup right here. So the current long we have here on the daily chart, as this is just stepping up very nicely for it, is going to be right here at about 33.57 up to about 34.24. So unless price continues to really trace lower, and I mean and get down right here about the 28.60ish level, something like that, which we can see. Let's go back to the hourly chart right here. When we're looking for that short step in the hourly chart, we're looking for somewhere about between 29.32 to 2900. So then going back up over here to the daily chart, if we get 29.32, which is about right here, let me zoom in here a little bit better, easier to see. That's going to be about 29.32ish, right about there to about the 2900. That's where that short setup would end up being, right about there. So that definitely is a possibility. If it does go to that low, then what I would look at doing, depending on how low it goes, is moving this pivot low down to about here. But as you can see, we really need to get down to about the low 2800s to have that be a viable option for it. So currently as it stands, that is going to be the current target we're looking at on the long side here on the daily chart. And so obviously how I look at it is obviously the weekly chart is the most powerful, then daily, hourly, and then 2-minute chart. So obviously the higher time frames are going to carry a lot more weight than the lower time frames do. So that's why weekly and daily both in extremely long bullish setups. Hourly is in a short setup, and then the 2-minute chart is in a bullish setup as well. So that's why I'm looking for a little bit to the short to intermediate term to have downside in the market, but definitely when you're looking at the long-term potential of the market, definitely still extremely bullish here in it. And then let me go over to the VIX here real quick, because what this last week did for the VIX was it actually created a short setup to the obviously to the downside, which is good for being long in the market. You want to go up for what the VIX is. It measures the volatility in the S&P 500 market, and so when the VIX is going up, the S&P is going down, and then when the VIX is going down, the S&P 500 is going up. So as we can see using here the daily chart, in fact, we're just going to start here on the 1-hour chart for the VIX here real quick, because it is in a bullish setup right here. As you can see, you have the pivot point low right there. There's a pivot point high. Now what I am going to do right here though, as you can see, price came up here on the Friday session of the market right here and broke it, never hit the target box, which would have been right up here. So this long trade setup in the VIX still is valid, but came back down and started violating some of the Fibonacci retracement areas. So when that happens, I continue to draw the pivot point high back up, and that does create a new target for the VIX right here, which is going to be about at the 48 level right there in the VIX. So that is why starting off the week, I would not be surprised if there is going to be more downside in the market, spike up, something like that. But obviously going as the market, was down here about the 27 levels before it really took off here in the VIX, spiked up all the way about to the 44. So for it to go to 36 to 48, that definitely would signal there's been another drop in the market, looking at another 5, 6, 7% in the market, and that definitely would take out the hourly short setup that we were looking for, and I think that would clear out all the shorts, and then we would start looking for the longs coming here in the market. Now, I'm not saying guaranteed this is going to happen, but that's just what I'm looking for based upon the VIX and the hourly chart, S&P 500, how it is setting up. But then if you go over here to either the daily or the weekly chart in the VIX, it doesn't really matter which one, but we'll just go to the weekly chart right here because it's a little bit easier to see. What we have right here is, let me delete that here real quick. What we have right here is there's the pivot point high right there in the VIX. There's the pivot point low. Actually, we'll go back to the daily. That's a little bit easier to see. You have this pivot point high. You have this pivot point low right here. Price came back up there on Friday, and you see it spiked up, hit the 38% level, which is enough to initiate that short trade right there in the VIX. So it is currently square in that, and the target that we do have in the VIX is going to be down here around anywhere from about, 9 to all the way down to about 1.2. So definitely 9 is the level we're looking at. And what this would do also right here is fit in very nicely, because I can see this huge gap the VIX had right here all the way from about 18 up to about 21. That was right when all the corona stuff was causing the global economy to shut down. I'm still looking for that gap to come down and be filled. And so obviously if the VIX is going down, the S&P 500 is going up. And so long term for the VIX, if it does go up and hit this target box up here from the hourly setup I just showed right there, it would hit the 50% Fibonacci retracement level, which again is still a perfect valid setup. It's just good as hitting the 38 and wouldn't change this target at all down here at about the 9 level for the VIX. So again, S&P 500, just to recap it here real quick, very bullish long term, bullish weekly, bullish daily. For the hourly chart, I am bearish for that one, looking for that to go complete, which would set up as well for the setup that we currently have in the VIX. So those two are setting up nicely to see if we are going to get some follow through short term to the downside in the S&P 500, because that's what the VIX is pointing to, and also S&P 500 in the hourly chart. And then of course the daily chart, that's the one I do day trade from. I just have to wait and see what the market's going to look like when it opens for the US trading session for it. So unfortunately can't really give too many targets on that one right there. I did give one for when the market opens. I am looking for it to potentially spike up right here to about 30.58 before it starts selling off down to at least around the 29.30 levels. And then after that, we'll see what happens. But my prediction is price will start moving back up again from those levels. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. So anyways, this is Evan Carthy from evancarthy.com, looking for the week of June 15th, 2020 for S&P 500. Take care. Be safe.